Welcome to the OmniTalk Fast 5, sponsored by Takeoff, the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, and for the month of June, BrightSign. The OmniTalk Fast 5 is the funniest, fastest, and most fervently insightful breakdown of all the week's top news in the world of retail, and also the podcast with the best alliteration. It's June 24th, 2021. I'm your host, Ann Mazinga, and I'm joined today by returning guest host and our favorite mate from across the pond, Oliver Banks. Ollie, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm amazing, and it's brilliant to be back. And fantastic to be joining you here on the Fast Five. And it's a real honor to be co-hosting with you. And I thought, in honor, there has to be a
Oh,
certain uniform, right?
that's right. I love this. So you guys are, I've had some amazing guest hosts these last couple of weeks while Chris has been out bringing it. They're bringing their costume changes. Everybody's really trying to just evoke the spirit of Chris Walton. And I could not
That's it.
appreciate it more. Ollie. Thank you
I don't know.
so
I don't know if
much.
it's possible, but yeah.
Hey, it makes all
let's
of us
try.
feel a little bit more comfortable, right? We're used to it. It's great. Ollie, I'm going to be joining you on your show pretty soon for Retail Transformation Live, just after the 4th of July holiday here. We'll have some details in the show notes, but maybe give our listeners a little peek into what we'll be talking about and what you've got going on.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited that you're going to be joining me on the virtual stage. So, Retail Transformation Live, as you say, is a virtual event. It's happening 6th, 7th, and 8th of July, and we're going to be tackling some huge topics in retail. But you and I are going to be talking about some of the key omni-channel trends that are going on. What's hot, what's not, and where are we going with it all? I think it's going to be an amazing conversation, as is this, of course, as well.
Yes. We'll just consider this like the pregame for Retail Transformation Live. So if you like what
Yeah.
you hear today, we'll come back. We'll do it again, bigger and better. The July 8th, I think it is. We're doing, or July 7th. Sorry, July 7th. We're doing that. So join us that and for the entire Retail Transformation Live virtual event. It will be excellent. Before we get to the headlines here, I want to make sure that we thank our sponsor for the month of June, and that is BrightSign. As customers who are used to the personalized recommendations and experiences that they've had online are now heading back into stores, it is critical that retailers' in-store signage and communication with customers meets their new expectations. Luckily, BrightSign can help. BrightSign is the global market leader in digital signage experiences for retail. They can plug and play with any tech, voice, gesture control, no limit, and it can all be easily managed through BrightSign's Control Cloud system. It works with nearly every CMS out there, and with one keystroke, you can pivot out of almost any CMS system on the fly. Also, my favorite part is they will proof of concept anything for you at no charge. So to learn more, you can visit brightsign.biz or again, check the show notes.
Well,
Now,
that's a pretty
Ollie,
fab little proposition there, isn't it?
I know,
Anything at
right?
no cost. Yeah,
I
get in
know,
there.
I know. They're gonna, as we say, they eat what they cook there. So we like them. That's what we're all about here at OmniTalk. We're gonna get into today's Fast Five, where we're gonna talk Indochino's shop and shops at Nordstrom, Alibaba's expansion of Store X. We're also going to be talking about Morrison's and their bid for, and several bids that they potentially might be getting here over in the UK. Marks and Spencer's trialing live video shopping, and we're going to take off with our first headline. What kind of retail podcast would we be if we didn't cover Prime Day, Ollie? It's like a box you have to check.
Prime Day. What's that?
Prime Day.
Never
What is
heard of
this
that
thing?
before.
Actually, I think that might be a good lead into the Prime Day this year. So according to Adobe Analytics, total online retail sales in the United States during Prime Day surpassed $11 billion and were 6.1% higher than transactions generated by the 2020 event. So this doesn't just include sales from Amazon. This is also some of the other retailers that were doing deal days events like Target, Walmart, Best Buy, Kohl's, and others who offer deals during this time. Another side note, sales during Cyber Monday of 2020 accounted to about 10.9 billion. So this is, I believe, makes this the largest U.S. shopping day online shopping day on record. Ollie, before we get your thoughts on this, we are going to put you on the spot right out of the gate. We have this question as our put you on the spot question from A&M. They are asking about Prime Day because why not? We're a retail podcast. We have to talk about it. They said Hubert Jolie from Best Buy famously noted that Amazon has created this wind around Prime Day for other retailers, like we mentioned, Target, Walmart, Kohl's, to take advantage of. But they want to get your thoughts on whether or not you think Amazon will continue to do 1 to 2 day Prime Days in the future. And will other competitors continue to follow this? And is there a way that Amazon should differentiate in the future? Like, can they get ahead of this? And will they do something new and bigger and better now that everybody's kind of following along? So, Ollie, I'll get your thoughts on that and Amazon Prime Day first.
Well, I think that's a fantastic question. For me, it's going to carry on, certainly in the short term, because it's clearly working and it's still growing at such a pace. Now, whether we will get to in a few years' time, like we did with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we're sort of plateauing off. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm looking across to Singles Day and the extraordinary growth that continues to see. And it's basically the same thing, right? Singles Day by Alibaba, and then JD.com are getting in on that. Prime Day and others are getting in on that as well. So I think it would definitely continue, and it could become another sort of big retail shopping event that just gets put into the calendar, albeit with Amazon's branding listed front and center.
Ollie, you bring up a really good point about Singles Day. I mean, Singles Day does at least double the revenue of what we see on Prime Day in that one Singles Day. I'm wondering, as we start to open up more, and as maybe US consumers and European consumers, more people start shopping from Alibaba instead of just limiting this to, our Amazon in the US, will we see like this kind of clash of, is it Prime Day versus Singles Day? And like, do the old holidays like Black Friday and Cyber Monday just go away, and now it's just these big retailers that are determining when the holidays are? I mean, I think this Prime Day is just another testament to the power that Amazon holds over the major players in this retail industry. They are the ones that make the rules, and everybody else has to follow, and not just big box retailers, but small businesses too. I mean, this is really the day to compete. And I think the other question that I have too is, is consumer spending going to stay at the level that we see? I think we're coming out of the pandemic. People are, still have cash on hand that they're willing to spend. And maybe, will we continue to see these numbers year over year increasing?
Prime Day felt a little muted for me here in the UK.
I agree.
It wasn't such a big deal as it was in previous years, which is why I was really genuinely surprised at that 6% uplift that Adobe were reporting, because if you cast your mind back to 2020, Prime Day was delayed, so it was in October, so just before holiday season. It was almost kicked off holiday season, right? And to be 6% up on that is colossal in my view. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So I think it's incredible. Just rewinding a couple of minutes ago, talking about Singles Day again. I was doing some reading, and Prime Day shifted 250 million items, which is a colossal number, until you look at last Singles Day 2020, where Alibaba shipped 2.3 billion orders, not items. So it's not apples for apples, but it's like a 10x difference. It's colossal, and it continues to surprise me.
Well, Ollie, in response to A&M's last question, what can Amazon do to stay above and kind of keep next step ahead? The only thing I could think of in response to this question would be like, do they start doing it in other categories? Like, do you get Prime Day space travel or like entertainment? Is Amazon coming up with like their own Emmy awards, and now they're the Emmys or something like that? Like now they just take over everything, and the industries have to follow suit. Any predictions there?
Well, I think Amazon's Prime Day is still very much a selling event. You look at the homepage on Prime Day, and it is about look at the offers, right? You again fly over to China and you see what Alibaba are doing. They've got concerts, they've got pop stars, they've got big hosts. So I think as we shift into the world of social commerce, we'll start to see more of an event coming through. And I'd love to see Amazon throw in more of their proposition. So what is Prime Video going to do on Prime Day? You know, is there a special unique series that is there for 24, 48 hours only, and it's sort of watch it before it's gone? How does that all play in? And yeah.
Well, let's move on to headline number 2, something a little more exciting than Prime Day, because I agree, Prime Day was a little bit of a bust this year for me. Let's talk Indochino this week, announcing that they're going to open 21 shop-in-shops in Nordstrom locations nationwide. So 10 Indochino locations are currently open in Nordstrom stores, and they are scheduled to open 11 more between June 25th and July 2nd, ready to hit that wedding season hard this year with weddings back in action. Shoppers are working with Indochino salespeople to choose fabrics, customization options, including lapels, buttons, pockets, lining, and monogramming. And then apparel is made to measure and sent directly to customers from the store within 2 to 3 weeks. And Nordstrom is also they're extending their complimentary alterations to all Indochino customers. Ollie, man, this is a shop and shop I can get on board with. I absolutely love this. I think it's a brilliant example of a complementary partnership. Tonal shop and shops in Nordstrom stores, not so much. But I really think that, you know, this makes a ton of sense. Suits are something that I need to go to a store to try on, to get fitted for. And while I'm there, I mean, there's a million things that you can get in the Nordstrom experience, from shoes to socks to accessories to fragrance. And probably the people that I'm going with can do something too. You know, I'm not making that trip alone always. And so, yeah. So Ollie, what do you say? Are you in on this? You think Indochino's got the right idea here?
I am so in on this. I love the bespoke offering Indochino do. It's brilliant. That sort of customized, high touch, high value, high service point. It's brilliant. And you're absolutely right. It is a real reason. Are you going to order a customized tailored suit or shirt or anything like that online, where you can perhaps see you see a great picture of the fabric, right, but you don't know whether it's the right color, because computer screens and phones always have a slightly different color than real life, and you wouldn't want to go and have that sort of bespoke offering based on your own measurements and, you know, some color matching without seeing real samples. And I think it's, you know, it does absolutely bring people in. It's a perfect partnership, and it really appeals to Nordstrom's current customer base as well, rather than trying to create some of these partnerships that we've seen recently, where I'd like to appeal to the younger generations, let's say. I think it fits perfectly straight in.
Well, I agree with you. And actually, Ollie, I would say that I think this gets the Gen Z and millennial audience into Nordstrom even more so. I mean, we saw them trying to do that, like you mentioned, with Glossier and some others earlier last year. But I think that you're right. Like, for this bespoke experience, Indochino is a fairly approachable price point for a custom suit. Or if you are a Gen Z or millennial and you're going to start getting into this wedding season where your friends are getting married, like, it gives you a reason to go into Nordstrom when you maybe thought that was a little bit above my level, or that wasn't quite something that was attainable for me as a young professional. And now I think they're going to get in there. They're going to have this excellent customer service that Nordstrom is known for. They're going to see, you know, the Nike sneaker shop that they have in there. They're going to see some of the other things and realize, like, okay, maybe this is a brand I can get by. And I think as we're seeing this decline in department stores, I think, bravo, Nordstrom, you are figuring out ways that are smart and strategic to get that next audience into your space.
Definitely. And I'm keen to ask you a question on this one, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be much cannibalization of the existing Nordstrom basket from this deal, or is it complementary? Is it going to actually supplement by, you know, additional purchases and bolt-ons, etc.?
I think that's a great question, Ollie. And actually, I do think this is a perfect compliment. I think that especially for the Gen Z and millennial audience, they walk into Nordstrom and you see Armani, you see Hugo Boss, you see the high-end labels that for suiting, I think specifically. I don't think that as a young consumer, you're thinking of Nordstrom as the place to go get a suit. I think that Indochino really brings that, like, again, approachable concept, bespoke suit. Like, you get to have your own flair. I think the Nordstrom of old probably carried this very, like, conservative, stiff approach, whereas Indochino is like, hey, we're a fun brand. We're going to get you in here. And so I think that, yeah, it really, again, brings that opportunity to get these millennials and Gen Z in the door and to help them grow maybe into that Hugo Boss or Armani suit down the road. And yeah, I think I don't see a lot of cannibalization happening. I actually think the basket size just overall increases with more time spent in the Nordstrom store.
Well, that's the sign of an awesome deal, hey?
I would say so. Well, speaking of those millennials, let's move on to headline number 3. So Alibaba announced this week that they are expanding their membership-based Store X concept because they're seeing this increase in Chinese consumers in the millennial demographic, having more kids, moving out into bigger spaces. And the company said it plans to add 8 more Store X locations this year, bringing the total to 11 stores since the launch of the chain's first store last October. So this is not just Costco in China. It's an 18,000 square foot store that's meant to be a larger version of the Fresh Hippo hypermarket. And it comes with the $40 per year annual membership fee and leverages the same Fresh Hippo app and omni-channel fulfillment options. So it's not quite 30-minute delivery like from the other Fresh Hippo markets in China. I think it's within 2 hours, depending on how far away you are from the store. But this is another thing that I find really, really cool about this concept. So they've created a showroom for imported products that are available on Tmall, and they are offering that product in store. So you are in the Store X store, you scan a QR code for an imported product that's on Tmall, and within 30 minutes, they have the product waiting for you. So you just do your other shopping and it's cleared customs and everything. It's ready to go. Ollie, we've been talking a lot already about what's going on in China in this show. What do you think about this Store X expansion?
I think it's great. And I also reflected on that very same point. I think it's brilliant how they've got this sort of this bonded international warehouse sort of bolted on the back that is ready to fulfill once you've scanned that QR code, as you say, it goes through customs at 30 minutes. I mean, most of us would fancy that going through international customs at an airport, 30 minutes, right?
Let's move this. TSA, are you listening? Yes, please help us. FAA.
So I think it's a great opportunity, and it's really interesting that they're continuing to offer this under the membership program. Really appealing to that younger demographic that are getting older and they are moving into sort of family stage of life and so on, and they're getting more money, right? They're starting to get promoted at work. They've got more disposable income. I think, yeah, it looks promising from my perspective for sure.
Well, we saw Costco in the news this week also touting the same thing. Bloomberg wrote an article talking about how, as more millennials are buying homes, to your point, they have more income, they can buy more things, they're having kids. Costco is also seeing their membership, target demo age go down from 43 to starting to get into the upper 30s. But I still don't understand. Costco in the US is still only piloting curbside pickup at 3 stores. So you look at the possibilities and what Store X is doing in China. And I'm just thinking, can you imagine Costco with this technology? Like Costco, why aren't you taking advantage of this? You could be doing so much more. I'm going to send myself into heart palpitations talking about Costco and wanting them so badly to embrace this technology. Sam's Club, we look at Sam's Club, they're close. They're doing lots of stuff. We just interviewed the CTO of Sam's Club, Vinod Bidderkopa, last week. We just put that out. So check that out, OmniTalk listeners. But it's a really great interview talking about how, they are really going hard on this omni-channel approach. They know that this consumer is going to expect things like scan and go in store. They don't want to come back from shopping online for the last year and have to wait in lines again. And so I think that, this concept, to borrow your words, Ollie, is brilliant from Store X. I cannot wait to go visit it. And I think is only, an opportunity for these US warehouse retailers to really look at what is possible and how successful they can be. All right, let's move on to headline number 4. So Ollie fought for this one, which is a great story. So Morrisons, the UK's 4th largest supermarket chain with nearly 500 stores, saw their stock surge by 28% after a US private equity firm made an offer to buy the supermarket group for 5.5 billion euro. That's $6.5 billion. Morrison's, however, rejected the offer from Clayton, Doublier, and Rice, citing that it is significantly undervaluing the business. Many are speculating that this now opens Morrison up to other offers, including perhaps one from Amazon. Morrison's has had a relationship with Amazon since 2016, under which the supermarket sells fresh produce through and food through Amazon's website. Ollie, you're the man on this one. We got to go to you for the UK point of view. Tell us why this is such a big story and why you wanted it included in this week's Fast Five, because I'm with you.
Well, this is interesting. So I think there's several different things going on here. Firstly, the offer from CD&R, the US private equity house, was particularly interesting because among their top team is Sir Terry Leahy, who has a bit of experience in the grocery sector. He was CEO of Tesco,
right?
And at the same time as he's CEO of Tesco, Morrison's current CEO, David Potts, was COO of Tesco, as was a lot of their exec board and their chair.
Right.
So it's like getting the band back together.
There's like, these guys are like the Beatles of grocery. Like we've got to get them all back together. I mean, you're right. There was like 4 or 5 people on the board who are all like just moved right over from Tesco, right?
Yeah. So I think it's really interesting, and there's obviously going to be lots of group dynamics going on. It's been, probably 10 years since Sir Terry Leahy left Tesco now, I would guess. So things have obviously moved on quite a bit in each of their lives. But I think you hinted at it as well. Amazon have been perhaps the rumoured suitor, shall we say, for Morrison's, as you say, the 4th largest supermarket here in the UK, for quite some time. And they've been working together on an online offering. Amazon food is on amazon.co.uk, is supplied by Morrison's. And it's a partnership that has been moving along now and picking up pace over the last, the pandemic month, shall we say, as online grocery has of course boomed. So I think it's really interesting, and it sits alongside a UK grocery market which has had quite a lot of change. We've had Asda recently sold by Walmart to another private equity consortium, and now they're looking at sort of expanding into petrol stations and convenience. What would Morrison's do with something similar? There's lots of opportunity.
Well, Ollie, I'm curious. Amazon. So they obviously own Whole Foods here in the US, and they have some Whole Foods locations in London already.
That's right.
But as we're seeing here stateside, at least, that's not stopping them from expanding the fresh concept in a fury here in the US. They've already expanded Go to London as well. I'm wondering, do you think that Amazon maybe holds on to this partnership with Morrison's on the side, but is actually just using that to collect data to build their own fresh stores that then they'll then launch, across the UK? Or do you think it makes more sense for them to buy Morrison's and then just take over the 500 existing locations?
Well, I think that's a great question. I mean, there's always lots of discussion and debate and rumor whether Amazon, or how Amazon uses data from partners and marketplace sellers and so on. So I don't have a detailed view on that. I'm sure there'll be plenty of investigations over the coming years into that. I think it's a really interesting one. They're absolutely growing out the Amazon Fresh stores, as we call them here in the UK. I think we're up to 5, maybe more. I can't remember off the top of my head. But expanding and getting really good reception from the UK consumer base as well. So it does prompt the question. Morrison's, interestingly though, over the past couple of years have been expanding upstream in the supply chain. So owning more manufacturers, more producers of the food. So that has a slightly different angle than just a retailer to that whole piece as well.
Right. And Amazon will need somebody with that capability on the ground there no matter what. So that's a great point, Ollie. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens, but exciting news. And we'll be chatting on LinkedIn about that as that story develops, I have a feeling.
Definitely. I look forward to hearing everyone's thoughts as well.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to our final headline. We're closing it up with another story from the UK. Marks and Spencer's has partnered with Go In Store and appointed to offer customers enhanced shopping experience through a new video expert service. So shoppers can schedule one-to-one consultations with Marks and Spencer's experts from the comfort of their home on demand or on product pages in the website, informing purchases, especially in the furniture and beauty categories, and then complete them either online and in store. Marks and Spencer's staff can live stream sessions to the site, which will allow an unlimited number of customers to join broadcasts to learn more about the products as they browse. This is a pretty significant move for one of the biggest mass retailers in the UK, Ollie. We're still a little behind on this in the US. I think it's going to become more common, but what are your thoughts on this move from Marks and Spencer's?
I like it. I think this whole video consultation, video customer service is kind of the next big thing for retail, and it plays so well using physical stores and the passion that you get in store associates and store colleagues that are there and they're ready to help customers. It makes it more convenient. It allows you to have a personal conversation as you would do in a store. And we've seen a few retailers now in the UK doing some amazing things with it, whether it's Currys doing sort of technology, whether it's Charlotte Tilbury doing beauty, Furniture Village, obviously in the furniture land. So yeah, it's a really exciting space. And I was doing some research as well, Anne. Everyone kind of thinks like, the pandemic's over, shops reopening,
Right.
and end of video consultations, right? Well, actually, research by Red Ant shows that 71% of 21 to 50-year-olds will continue to use virtual consultations. So this is here to stay.
Well, and in one of the reports that they put out too about this woman at Marks and Spencer's in the furniture department said she was chatting with a 92-year-old woman who was like, "Yes, I don't want it takes a long time for me to get to the store, but I mean, I think that's where you're right. This is again, we're using this so much this to explain things, but it's a brilliant move. Like it makes sense to get, you get to do it on your own time. You don't have to be in the store to be making the decisions. It's like, get me down to, just as I would if I was shopping online, get me down to the two choices. I either want red or I want blue. And these are the choices. This is what it looks like. I can go in store to make my final decision, but all of the other things, all the product knowledge, background information, how the product wears, all these things like that can easily be determined upfront in a much simpler way. And I think this video exchange offering is going to be huge. I hope we start to see more of this in the US soon. I really, really do. Well, that closes us up on the headlines, Ollie. But are you ready for our rapid fire questions? There's only one answer. There's only one answer. You got to be ready, Ollie. You got to be ready.
Let's do it.
All right. First question. Favorite UK band of all time?
Queen.
Oh, yes. Good answer. That was the best one. You win on that one, no matter what. The rest of the answers don't matter. Okay. McDonald's announced this week a new loyalty app they'll be rolling out to the entire US in July, where you can get 100 points for every dollar spent at McDonald's. Ollie, what is your McDonald's go-to order?
McDonald's go-to order has to be cheeseburger and chocolate milkshake. Ooh. It's my
just a straight up cheeseburger. Straight up
cheeseburger. It's
not Big Mac, just cheeseburger.
Yeah, okay. on the go as well. A little too tasty. I
have to say McFlurry. That's like my only option at McDonald's, and I was there like 3 times this week with young kids. I have a feeling I need to sign up for that loyalty program. Okay, next question. Shopify is ready to take on Amazon, launching their own affiliate program for content creators like yourself. Ollie also has a home improvement DIY channel that he started during the pandemic. Ollie, on your channel, what is the number one product you'd refer the at-home DIYer to buy?
My favorite tool has to be my miter saw, which is a big circular saw spinning on a hinge. For those that aren't so DIY savvy.
Yes, high ticket item, high danger item, but you will be collecting a big check if you can find a Shopify provider who is selling those miter saws, Ollie. Next question. Target announced 2 new D2C brands they'll be launching in store this week, one of which is Jinx, a pet supply company famously backed by singer Halsey, actor Will Smith, and rapper Nas. Of that lineup, who would you most want to have dinner with, Ollie?
It's a no-brainer, this one for me, and Will Smith, all the way.
Oh,
going from Fresh Prince all the way up to, what's one of the top Hollywood actors of our time. So
I
yeah, what a
I
meteoric
think
rise.
I'm gonna go with Nas, but I was
Okay.
actually more surprised that Will Smith has dropped the rapper moniker. He's only an actor now. He's not claiming Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But hey, that's okay. That's okay. It's summertime. We'll bump that jam later in his honor. Okay, next question. Banana Republic is bringing back a vintage capsule with the launch of BR Vintage, featuring 225 vintage products from the brand's 80s and 90s golden period. Oliver Banks, what clothing item from the 80s and 90s do you most want to see return?
I would love to see Reebok pumps come back, just as they originally were, because I always fancied it and I never had a pair. And
Oh
yeah, the
no.
original cool ones, they were nice. Yeah, great.
No. Oh, Ollie, we gotta find a way. There are websites where you can get these and hypercolor t-shirts and the
Oh, happy got a
that's what I
t-shirt. So I
would
didn't think of
that's what I
that.
would yeah, the Esprit bag is my number one. I think I would still use that tote on a regular basis, but yes, we will try to find some pumps for you, Ollie. I would love to see you put those on. And last question, Ollie, you and I will be getting together, as we mentioned, on July 7th for Retail Transformation Live. Tell us where people can find out more about that event.
Yeah, so I mean that's the virtual event to help you transform retail, and the best place to go to find out all about it and sign up for free is retailtransformation.live.
Wonderful, Ollie. We will put that in the show notes as well.
Thank you so
That wraps
much.
us up. Thank you so much to Ollie for joining us this week. We are off next week for the 4th of July holiday, but wishing all of our listeners out there in OmniTalk land a safe and fun holiday weekend. Happy birthday, of course, to two English rockers in your honor, Ollie. London's Mick Fleetwood of Fleetwood Mac, one of my favorite bands of all time, and Birmingham's Astro from UB40. Hoping you all can raise some of that red wine this weekend. And remember, if you can only listen to or read one retail blog in the business, make it OmniTalk. Our Fast Five podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news. And our twice weekly newsletter tells you the top 5 things you need to know each day, and also features special content exclusive to us and just for you, and all within the preview pane of your inbox. You can sign up today at www.omnitalk.blog. Thanks as always for listening in. Please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcasts or on YouTube. And of course, as always, be careful out there. The OmniTalk Fast 5 is brought to you with the help and support of the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities towards their maximum potential. CRG brings the experience, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And Takeoff. Takeoff is transforming grocery by empowering grocers to thrive online. The key is micro-fulfillment, small robotic fulfillment centers that can be leveraged at a hyper-local scale. Takeoff also offers a robust software suite so grocers can seamlessly integrate the robotic solution into their existing businesses. To learn more, visit takeoff.com. And finally, BrightSign. BrightSign is the global market leader in digital signage experiences for retail, offering the most affordable total cost of ownership platform in the industry. BrightSign media players are the most respected and most reliable digital signage hardware on the planet, and partners with all the leading content management software providers specializing in the retail market. BrightSign also offers free cloud connectivity for remote monitoring and management of player networks. To learn more, visit brightsign.biz.